the Bowsie. Hi, baby. Oh, looks like we got another vlog to do. Yeah. Want to do another vlog? Want to do another vlog? Come here, baby. Well, let go. There you go. Good girl. Man, I tell you, Bowsie is very attached to her daddy. Isn't that right, baby? Yeah. Say hi to all the people out there. Hi. Say hi. Hi. Yeah, you really are a one-of-a-kind girl, aren't you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yeah. Well, she really is a one-of-a-kind girl, and I gotta tell you why. But first, if you've ever thought about owning a bearded dragon, or if you do own a bearded dragon, you might notice that they are very partial to their owners. Well, this is altogether true. You see, after you take care of a bearded dragon long enough for them to get used to you, they usually form what is accounted for as a bond with you. And they share that bond with you throughout the rest of their lives. Once they get their trust in you and they know that they're not in any imminent harm, and then after you take care of all of their needs, make sure they're taken care of, make sure they eat well enough, give them treats whenever they're good, like your grapes, and always spend a lot of time with them and have lots of patience with them when they get hyper. I've had to do that with you a lot of times, huh, Bowsie? But you can never put a price on the love you get in return in the form of the bond they share with you. Now, a lot of herpetologists will not count this as a type of affection or love. It's just an instinct. But, I still say that it is a form of love. It's just that they don't show the type of love that a dog or a cat would, or another person. But the bond that you get with your pet bearded dragon is by far the strongest next to a dog. And I've seen some dogs that are pretty attached to their owners, and Bowsie here is very attached to me. And let me all tell you why I feel this way. Back when we were living in Columbus, Ohio, we had an apartment, and we were in the process of getting out of that apartment and into a different building. During this time, we had to move everything over to the new place. I really didn't want Bowsie in the middle of all of that. I wanted to make sure that she was going to be taken care of, that her lights were going to still be on, that she was properly fed and watered and taken care of while we got the building ready. The building we were moving into did not have any heating in it whatsoever. No central heat, no nothing. And this was also the winter of the great winter polar vortex. So it was very cold in there, and this was around November. And so it was starting to get really cold here. Well, after everything was, all of our main stuff, all of our furniture and everything, all the main stuff was moved over to the new building. I wanted to leave Bowsie there at the old apartment to make sure that she still got proper heating, because if we brought her over to the new building, she would have been dead. I did not want that to happen to my little baby girl. So I left her at the apartment until everything else was moved over completely. The place was cleaned, and we were ready to vacate this apartment and go to the building. During this time, we had to go to Walmart to get a whole bunch of space heaters for every one of the bedrooms and heat them up before we even brought Bowsie over. And when I did, I had Bowsie inside my coat, like keeping her warm. And when her terrarium was heating up, I kept her there, so that when it reached the desired temperature, I was able to put her in the terrarium, and then she was okay. But the time that she spent in that empty apartment alone by herself was what really did not, I did not like it. I did not like being too far away from my little girl. But I did leave her in the care of our neighbor, and we have a mutual friend, one of our neighbors, who was there at the time. Hi, baby. Yeah, I see you gaping. I'm talking about that moment, huh? I'm talking about that moment. Well, I left her in the care of my neighbor, and he was able to come over, give her food, give her water, spend time with her, and then he would go back home and leave her, overnight by herself. And then he would come over the next day and repeat the process over and over again every single day we were gone. And this was about 2 weeks of him doing this. And he tried to take care of you as best as possible, but he wasn't your owner, though, so you were as partial to him as you were of me. But see, this is when I didn't really know how strong the bond could be. When I came back for Bowsie 2 weeks later, and I came back to clean the apartment, and I was waiting for my ride to go back to the building, I took Bowsie out of the terrarium, getting all of her stuff ready to go. And the moment I took her out of the terrarium, she leapt for my arm, held on tightly, and she would not let go. She missed me that much. Yes, you did, baby, huh? Yeah, Daddy didn't want to leave you behind, but it was for your own good. It was only for your own good, yeah. Yeah. And ever since then, she has been clingy to me, especially when she was around other people. Now, she doesn't mind other people. She likes other people. But her bond with them isn't as strong as her bond with me. Because even though she loves people, she will still tend to turn around, climb up to my chest, and hang there and cling tightly, like she's doing to my arm right now. And as you can see, she is very attached to me. Sometimes she doesn't even want to go back in her terrarium. Sometimes she'll put up a struggle. If it's really late at night, then she'll go in. But if it's still daylight out, she still wants to spend more time with Daddy. But the bond, this is why I feel the bond that you share with a bearded dragon is by far one of the strongest in the animal kingdom. And I was very, very amazed at how strong her grip was and how tightly she held onto my arm. Like, she held onto it tightly. I can almost feel my hand pulsating. That's how tight she was holding on, because she did not want to lose her daddy again. And I made sure that she didn't lose her daddy again, because everywhere I go, she goes. And I've never left her alone since, and I made that promise to her that I never was going to leave her alone again, and I never have. We went to Phantom Fest last year up in Scranton, and Bowsie had a blast. She was happy. She loved seeing everybody. I took her around the con floor. Everybody got a kick out of her. The kids loved her. They wanted to pet her, and they wanted to. One of them wanted to hold her for a little bit, and so I gently put her into. I made sure they held her with both hands, and she was comfortable. She was taking it all in, and then up in the hotel room. We had room service come over, and they delivered like a pizza or something. And Bowsie's terrarium, we had her little portable terrarium with her, so we were able to set that up. And it's just for very, very short, small visits. It's nothing that she's going to stay in. But we had her travel terrarium with us, and we had that plugged in. She was up on her basking stick, and she was looking out at the delivery guy. The delivery guy looked over and said, "Oh, how cute! What is that?" And I said, "It's a bearded dragon." And after I told him that, Bowsie looks up at the delivery guy and gapes for him, which really made the delivery guy fall in love with her. And she has just got one of those personalities where you just so much as look at her and you instantly fall in love with her. Isn't that right, Bowsie girl? But the bond that you share with the bearded dragon is just unmatchable. I mean, I have never had an animal in my life so attached as Bowsie is. And she's looking at me like, "Daddy, what are you doing? What are you saying?" It's almost as if I can read her mind. And I feel that not only are we connected somehow in, owner and pet, but I do believe that we're also connected spiritually. Because, a lot of the time, when she does something that she knows she's not supposed to do, and she does her moments where she scares the hell out of me, she will look to me and start gaping at me or she'll tilt her head as I'm feeling her over, making sure she's okay, and she'll tilt her head at me like, "Daddy, you don't have to do this. I'm fine." And she has that look in her eye like she knows that I'm scared out of my mind, and she's trying to soothe my fears of having anything happen to her. And then she'll give me a reassuring gape. That's how I feel that somehow she has a strong sense of what I'm feeling inside and is able to interpret that and reassure me of any fears or any sadness or any scares that you give me. And she's amazing at this. I don't know how she does it, but the only thing I can think of is that the bond that you share with the bearded dragon goes deeper than that by, just recognizing who you are, because you're the one who feeds her every day. You're the one who takes care of her needs. You're the one who gives her water. You're the one who bathes her every day. You're the one who cleans out the terrarium every month. But it's a lot further than that, because I feel that she's spiritually connected to me somehow. Now, I'm not saying that that's true or false or whatever, but that's the way it feels. And it's just amazing how, just in 4 years' time, that a strong bond such as this can form with such a beautiful pet. And I feel that Bowsie is loaded with a lot of personality. And a lot of people say, well, lizards, all they do is just sit there, they stare at you, they eat, they do their bath thing. They don't really have any concept of love or affection. And a lot of people say that, but I don't believe it because of Bowsie's own activity with me and the way she is and the way she reacts about certain things. And it's just that you really have to interpret a lot deeper than just what meets the eye. And that's where I feel a lot of herpetologists could look a little bit deeper into the emotion aspect of the bearded dragon, because they say that bearded dragons have no concept of love. They don't know what they're feeling. They don't know how to feel it. But they're also not the ones who raise them on loving intentions, loving affections. All they do is just take care of them and analyze them. But they really don't, spend a lot of time with the lizard to develop its nurturing. They don't nurture the pet. And maybe some of them do, but they're not talking about how the bond is between the pet and the owner, because a lot of bearded dragon owners do this. A lot of bearded dragon owners that keep them as pets, and especially ones who breed and raise these things, will say just how strong that bond is. But never have I heard it from a herpetologist. So even though I don't tend to listen to a lot of herpetologist mumbo jumbo, I do believe that they are right in a lot of aspects, but not all aspects. And they seem to give the wrong message to bearded dragon owners, but you really should be listening to the owners themselves who raise these pets, taking the time to nurture them, to care for them, and to give them lots and lots of loving and encouragement. Yeah. I want to tell you about the time that the first time she did this, which is really amazing, though, because I feel that some of the emotions that I give onto the bearded dragon, she gives back to me in some way, shape, or form. And a lot of the time, I'll pick her up and I'll give her little nuzzles with my nose like this, and she loves that. Her head just perked right up when I did that. And I'll give her nuzzles like this, with my nose, nice and gentle along the side of her face like she likes. And then I'll do the other side too, and underneath her chin. She loves it underneath her chin. That's why she likes to raise her head up. Like, oh, you're giving me nuzzles. Rub my chin, Daddy. Yeah, you're getting into that position, aren't you? Yeah, you like that, huh? That feel nice? Yeah, feel good. Yeah, it does. Let me give you a kiss. That's a good girl. Look how happy this girl is. She is so happy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. But anyway, so I started giving her lots of nuzzles. Because when she was little, she used to climb up to my chest and fall right asleep and nestle her head right over here, right underneath my chin. And she would go to sleep there. And I thought that was the most precious thing when she started doing that. And she started doing that about 6, 7 months, 8 months old, about there, around that era. After a while, she quit doing the nestling thing. So then I started, giving her some of those nuzzles, in hopes that she remembers that she liked, nestling and nuzzling and all that stuff, and kind of re-imbue the affection of the affection of the nuzzling and the nestling right back into her. And so I spent about a year just giving her nuzzles and showing her that this is affection, this is a loving intention, this is a loving gesture. And she just really took it all in. She got used to it real fast. And I still give her lots of nuzzles and lots of nestling, and right now she's just wanting to hang on to Daddy. She doesn't want to look at the camera right now. She wants to hang on to Daddy. Yeah, isn't that right, baby? And but anyway, back to what I was saying. The one time though that I noticed that she started nuzzling me back. Now this is how I can the definitely vouch for the fact that bearded dragons are very smart creatures. because they kind of adapt to the environment that they're given. If they're given like a bland, boring environment, they're not going to do much. They're not going to show much in the ways of emotion. But if they're giving a very loving home, very caring, you give them lots and lots of attention, lots of loving, give them lots of nuzzles, little kisses here and there, and they understand what that is. Eventually, they learn that that is a loving gesture, and they grow attached to that. Assuming it's what they like. Now, some bearded dragons might not like that, but some Bowsie sure loves it. And so after I started giving her lots of nuzzles, I went to go and pick her out of her terrarium one day, and this was like 1 or 2 in the afternoon after she's had a chance to digest her food. And I went to go and pick her up, and I put my hand down by her face because I like to, stroke her beard to let her know, hey, here's Daddy, I'm here to pick you up. And she'll usually get right into position. She'll like rear up on her haunches and get ready for my hand to slip underneath her, because that's a daily ritual with me, because she knows what time that is. But this time she actually nuzzled against my hand like a cat. And I kid you not, she actually rubbed against my hand. And I'm like, wow, Bowsie, what is going on, So I rub the side of her head, and she starts, doing like this. And I don't know if she's learning tricks from the cat, or if she's taking these nuzzling and then interpreting it as like sort of a bearded dragon type of nuzzle. But after a couple of times like that, and then she just climbed right into my hand, ready to be lifted out of there. So, I think that, it all happens to be the type of environment that you provide for your bearded dragon. It definitely comes back to you. So they understand that if they're being mistreated, they're not going to treat their owners with the same respect. They're going to be either very scared or very aggressive. If they're treated, fairly, they're just there to take up space, and they're there, you eat, you feed them, and you water them, and you give them all their needs, you bathe them, you mist them, you clean out their terrariums. If they're just there and you don't even spend much time with them, they're going to be bored out of their minds, sitting there staring at you. Well, they'll stare at you anyway, but they're going to be just sitting there bored out of their minds. They're not going to show any signs of life out. They're just going to be like lumps on a log. And they deserve to be out with their owners. Now, if you treat them with lots of love and lots of caring and nurturing and lots of loving gestures toward them, the way I do with Bowsie all the time, you get a lot of that back. So I feel that they adapt through the bond that you share with your bearded dragon. They adapt to the type of environment you provide for them, and they learn quick. They really do. Bowsie's going to be 4 years old in October, and she has had all this time to learn all about Daddy's affections, but I don't know why she still loves to go for Daddy's hair. Why do you love hair so much? You should have seen it yesterday. She was covered in my hair. It's like she climbs right up here and then starts burying her head underneath a strand of hair that I had hanging down here. And I looked over, and it looked like she was wearing a Janis Joplin wig. I kid you not. And then we went out to the living room and we saw Jurassic World together. Yeah, you like that movie, huh? Yeah, you do. You want to say hi to everybody while we're at it? Yeah, say hi. Look, the camera. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Try not to pull it off my computer like you did last time. Yeah. I think she's attracted to the blue LED light on my camera, because I noticed that bearded dragons in general do respond to light, and especially LED light. And she knows that when that light is on, she knows that she's on camera. And of course, she also sees a thumbnail of herself on the computer screen, too. Let's say hi to everyone. Say hi. Say hi, baby. Yeah. But I must honestly say that this is probably the most tame bearded dragon I've ever had. And also the cutest. Yes, you are the most beautiful bearded dragon I've ever owned. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yeah. You want to climb up into my face, or you want to give me nuzzles? Is that what you're trying to do? Trying to nuzzle? I'll nuzzle. 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 What a good girl. He's such a good girl. But anyway, I feel that we've touched on the subject of bonding with the pet and how their bond is established with the owner based on how they are raised and how they're treated. So if you are a bearded dragon owner and you treat your bearded dragons very well, they will treat you well in return. And they will share with you a bond that is so unbreakable that kind of makes me wonder what's going to happen when it carries over into the afterlife. Kind of makes me wonder, huh? Yeah. Well, I would hate to think about that aspect, but while we're here on this earth, I'm going to be taking very good care of you, huh? Yes, I do. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah, such a good girl. Nuzzle. Nuzzle. Oh, you want me to rub your chin? Okay. Want to say hi? Say hi. She's a good girl. Yes, you are. You want to go? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go, baby? Oh, you want to see the camera some more? She is fixated on this camera. Isn't that right, baby? Isn't that a pretty girl? Isn't that a pretty face? Look at that pretty face. Look at it from side view. She looks a little intimidating, but she doesn't really intimidate. She's actually fascinated. She's definitely fascinated by something, because, you know, when she gets that look in her eye and she fixates herself on something, you know, she's concentrating on that one thing, you know, learning its location and what it is and what it does. You're very inquisitive, you know that? Yes, you are. Yeah. There you go, baby. Say hi. Say hi to everybody out there. Say hi, YouTube. Say hi. Nope. She doesn't want to do it she doesn't want to gape today. She's not in that much of a gaping mood today. She just wants to be held. Yeah, she just wants to be held. So, like I said, a lot of the times when you think you know your bearded dragon, sometimes they'll have just one of those days where they don't want to do what it is they do normally or what they usually do. And they just want to just take some time, kick back, and give Daddy some cuddles. Yeah. So, those of you that are interested in obtaining a bearded dragon for a pet, you're really getting a lot more than a pet. You're getting like a companion. And all I can say really is, you know, treat them as best as you can. Treat them with lots of love. Get close with your bearded dragon, you know. And always try to, if you can, if you go away anywhere, try to bring your bearded dragon with you, because they love, well, Bowsie loves going on trips. Some of them might not like car rides or anything like that, but all you got to do is just get them used to it. If they're not used to it, bring them in gradually, and then let them learn from the experience. Because they do catch on. They learn quick. Some of them don't learn until much later, but every bearded dragon is different. They're just like people. Every single one has different personalities. And Bowsie's, by far, is probably one of the closest I've ever seen. Yeah. Yeah. It's a good girl. Yeah, she just wants to be held. So, even though she's not in a camera mood today, look at this. Yeah, she'll do that too. Well, she'll start stroking my chest like this. Yeah, that's a good girl. That's a good girl. So anyway, I think I've pretty much talked enough about the bond between owner and bearded dragon. So, like I said, if you ever have an idea that you want to get a bearded dragon, bring them home and raise them, best to get them as infants, as young as they can. The youngest you can ever get a bearded dragon is 6 weeks old. And so when you get your bearded dragon, make sure that you spend a lot of time with it in its upbringing. Give them good intentions. Give them lots of love as they grow up, and that way they'll grow more adapted to the type of affections that you give them. because bearded dragons, especially infants, will adapt to the environment they're given. So if you treat them right, treat them with lots of love and lots of nurturing, they will be just as kind to you as you are to them, and it will show. Isn't that right, baby? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So anyway, for Bowsie's Vlogs, this is Bowsie. And I'm sure she would say goodbye to everybody, but she's too busy cuddling with Daddy. She has been in a cuddly mood all week. Yeah. Except when he wanted to watch the film, and then he just kind of sat on my knee and watched the movie. But, yeah. I notice Bowsie likes to watch movies with her daddy, too, a lot. Yeah, sure does. So anyway, next on Bowsie's Vlogs, I'll tell you some of those stories about some of the movies that she likes and some of the things that she's seen on the next episode of Bowsie's Vlogs. And this is Bowsie with Sonic Blue saying good luck in the care of your bearded dragons. And like I said, if you have any questions about bearded dragon care, I'll be happy to answer them. And I'm sure Bowsie will be happy to answer them too. Yeah. Take care, everybody.